Conjugates is an expression that's often used when you're dealing with expressions that have radicals in them. And basically, a conjugate is the part of the expression when you multiply it times a radical expression, the final answer is an integer. So what do you multiply this by to get an integer as an answer? So 2 root 5 minus 3 root 2. What could I multiply that by so that the answer is an integer? And by saying I want the answer an integer, it means there's not going to be any radicals left in the answer. So I can multiply it by 2 root 5 plus 3 root 2. When I do that, there will be no radicals left, so I'll have an integer for an answer. Let's do that and just check it out. 2 root 5 times 2 root 5 would be 4 root 25. 4 times 5, 20. All right. And then I get plus 2 times 3 is 6 root 10 minus 6 root 10. I'm multiplying here. And then here, minus 9 times minus 18. All right, this cancels out. 20 minus 18. I get 2 when I multiply that. So that number was the conjugate. When I multiplied it, I had an integer for an answer. And there we have it. Now, this question here on 276 was pretty interesting because it was 2 questions in one. What is the conjugate of the reciprocal? So the first thing I have to do is find the reciprocal of that. Well, the reciprocal of that is 1 over 2 root 5 minus 3 root 2. So I have the reciprocal, and now I have to find the conjugate of the reciprocal, right? What do I multiply it by so that I have an integer for an answer? So think about that for a sec. So the first thing you should do is, we have the reciprocal, but let's make that a little bit easier to understand. You know, in algebra, you're not supposed to leave radicals in the bottom of a fraction. So we're going to simplify that first. So we'll start off with 1 over 2 root 5 minus 3 root 2, and we're going to simplify it so that I don't have a radical in the bottom. So 2 root 5 plus 3 root 2 times 2 root 5 plus 3 root 2. And when I multiply that, notice I'm multiplying it by this expression, which is the equivalent of 1. Same thing over same thing. I can multiply anything by 1 and not change it. I'm just making it look different. So I get 2 root 5 plus 3 root 2 on the top. What do I get on the bottom? Well, when I multiply that, I get, let's see, 4 times 5 is 20, right? And then no middle term, and then I get minus 3 times 3 is 9, times 2 is minus 18, so I get a 2 here. So 2 root 5 plus 3 root 2 all over 2. Now, that's the simplified expression for the reciprocal. What's the conjugate of that? In other words, what can I multiply that by so that I don't have any radicals there? Well, 2 root 5 plus 3 root 2 over 2, I could multiply it by 2 root 5 minus 3 root 2, correct? Over, that's all I need. If I multiply it out, let's see what happens. So on the top, I get 2 times 2 is 4 times 5 is 20, no middle term again. And so 20 minus 18 all over 2, 2 over 2. So the conjugate of the reciprocal was this. When I multiplied it out, I got an integer, and that's what the definition says to do. All right, good luck with these.